What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Blue River Bow Hunting Podcast, episode 103, Spring Thunder. What's going on, Dylan?
What's up, man? We're getting closer.
Yeah, it's still too far away. I'm ready to turkey hunt like right now. Like we've talked before, I've been watching all these videos, watching Shane's old stuff, having him on, and just talking about it, and watching even all this old stuff is pretty good. And then watching Scott and all them guys. We've been watching a lot of turkey videos, and I'm freaking jacked up.
Yeah, man. Between the turkey videos and all the podcasts and all the guys we've had on, I think this year is going to be. It's going to take forever to get there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely looking forward to a lot of stuff. How was the NWTF last weekend?
But if that wasn't a record year, I don't know where they've messed their numbers up. That's probably the most people I've ever seen um, there on one day, let alone that many days. We had a great time. But it was so chaotic, dude. I couldn't even meet up with half the people that, I had texted to meet up with or had plans to meet up with. I mean, it was you just couldn't find nobody in there. Then there was no cell phone service, so it was just, I knew where to find certain people, found them, and done what I needed to do. Hung out and I got out of there and just enjoyed the hotel.
Yeah, like we talked a little bit after you got back, I was saying, next year I'm sure you maybe just want to try it, just you and the wife come down or whatever, and then meet up with us, or we all stay together and just go have fun at that. And then maybe go check some of the nightlife out.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of after parties and stuff like that. But we took the family down, and it was a good time. But we were fortunate enough to have a shuttle from our hotel straight across the street, so we were within walking distance. So we just walked. But I'm telling you, dude, it was from GPS. I just for kicks and giggles, I was like, I'm gonna see how long it would estimate us to just drive, straight across the street. It was like 27 minutes to go zero point 0.3 miles.
That's insane.
It was wild.
What was some of the things that you maybe stood out to you at the show, like products or people or anything?
This year I noticed a lot more of the smaller companies popping up. Some more of the YouTube style stuff. That I'm trying to think. There was a few new call companies coming up that I seen that they had a nice booth. But man, something that stuck out to me is the quality of gear. With Sheen coming out with their stuff, with Sitka, with Drake has stepped it. Their new stuff is insane. I can't wait to get my hands on that. But it almost has snowballed into everybody having to step their game up, with those warranties, with just the durability, which I'm pretty biased for the Drake stuff, the non typical, the old Tom. But um, as far as just quality of stuff, I think we're at a peak right now of just quality, long lasting gear. Um, some of the calls, man, were sounding super good. I don't know if it's the callers or the calls anymore that's so good. I snuck in Woodhaven, talked to Scott for a little bit, and I mean that place was just an absolute madhouse. You really didn't have time to stop and really like indulge on any booth. It was so crowded. Um, I've never seen that much bottomland. I will tell you that.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say was a lot of these companies are coming back with the old school stuff. I mean, Drake with the camo patterns of Real Tree Original and all that stuff, and
Yep.
Blocker, they got some stuff too. They brought a little bit of it back last year. I started wearing the green leaf last year. That's what all my stuff is now in the Finisher series, and I love it. Back in the day, I would have just primarily stuck with Bottomland, but then bringing them that old school stuff back, even that they bringing the deer in the deer woods too.
hmm Yeah. So just be watching out for the non typical and the Drake lines. They're going to kind of do some cool stuff with it that I know about. That Retro 80 that they just launched with Old Tom. But me and you, man, we sat last year talking about turkey hunting around a fire here, and we talked about how that old school look is coming back, and man, they're killing it. So I'm excited. It's got me um, ready to get new gear like I need any, but I'm gonna get it
Right.
as soon as it comes out. So
Well, I even seen, I think it was Mossy Oak. By the way, I love the old school colors compared to like a Sitka or any of the new stuff, really. I
yeah,
mean, that old school stuff hits so hard. It just looks good, and you feel good while you're out there hunting them gobblers.
Yeah.
uh, I guess what we really didn't explain to start off this episode is uh, this episode 103 is basically going to be a 2025 preview of what me and Dylan are doing this spring. Videos, content, more podcasts. I mean, we're really doing it good with the Spring Thunder, in my opinion. I mean, we've already had Scott Ellis on, Shane Simpson. We were supposed to have the Turkey Doc,
Hmm.
yesterday, but he uh, he had some stuff going on, so we rescheduled with him. Paul Campbell from turkeyseason.com and NWTF will be on next week. We got some cool guests lined up, man.
Absolutely. And dude, I'm super excited about this because we get to chat with these people, we get to conversate with them, we get to pick their brain, and the knowledge and the confidence I'm already heading into this year with is like it's just I can't even imagine how good this season's going to be just from um, every aspect of turkey hunting. I think just slowing it down, enjoying it. Um, talk to Scott a lot. Talk to Shane. They've given great advice. Jason, he was on here. He's somebody I've kept. We've chatted a lot, and man, I feel like me and you have got to this point to where if we run into something we haven't seen, we have some great sources to give them a call, and they help us get through it or tell us how to tackle it, and that's something that I'm super thankful for.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like what I wanted out of this show when I first started doing it was just get the regular guys on me, like me, that have fun with this, but and still do other things with it. May it be content or video or whatever. And we've had some great guests that have went through all that. But when we did Jason's for the 100th, I put more preparation into that podcast than I ever have at any
Hmm.
podcast, and I felt like he loved that challenge of me knowing stuff and actually, talking to him. And I felt like, like, I don't know if Jason hears this, I was really kind of astonished by all of his knowledge. And like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was so much fun talking to him. I'm like, okay, if that's the guest that I have right there, I'm going to try to keep doing that because I felt like, I mean, we got off the one with Jason and he ended up logging back in for a second, but
Yeah,
we were kind of like blown away with it. Like when we were done, we're like, this guy was great. I mean, he
yeah,
really explained things going on and stuff like that. And if we continue to do that, I mean, it gets more fun for me,
yeah.
and then it just keeps snowballing after that.
Yeah, and Jason is a guy that has so much experience, not even just hunting, but in the industry. And you get somebody on like that, he knows how to explain things, he knows how to conversate, and he knows how to help you. Um, he's been a great asset to bounce ideals off of, and to have him back on in the future to go more in depth in the way he thinks and the way he views things. I think that's when you and I can sit down, open up, and listen, and that's when you learn, and that's when you become a better woodsman, a better habitat manager. That's when you just I have learned from his podcast and just listening to what he had to say, and then going into Scott Ellis's. Like you said, we put in the work. We were really searching it down, but we already knew these guys, but we wanted to dive deeper.
Right.
And man, it's made the I think the shows just so much more informational. Scott's wanting to come back on and dive into techniques, and that's something I'm going to have my notepad out for because when he talks, I listen. And that's the kind of people that we're shooting for is to have those people that when they're in a room and they're talking, everybody's listening because you're going to take something away from that conversation.
Oh, absolutely. I was I don't know if he was talking about me or it just hit home for me that I had done that, but Shane was talking about somebody he had watched or listened to or something did like a purr and then yelp a couple times, and he's like, "Are you a feeding hen and relaxed, or are you a yelping bird?" And I was like, "Man, he may have watched one of my videos. That was something that I did sometimes." And I'm like, "Okay, he said not to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm either going to be the relaxed bird and just continue to purr and some kikis and whines and stuff, or am I getting aggressive and yelping at him, trying to get him to respond?"
Yeah, and the Spring Legion guys, I listened to a podcast and they were just talking. solely on situations and how they would tackle it. And it's cool to sit down with Scott and hear the way he's going to take on that bird, and then you sit down with Shane, and he's going to do a little different. Both of them are high caliber turkey hunters. Both of them have an extremely high success rate. Um, and that's what's amazing about turkey hunting is they're different, but they've hunted together, and they get it done in their different ways. And you and I, we have different strategies sometimes, and
Hmm.
that's what a man needs in the turkey woods, because sometimes you get tied up on that gobbler, you hear it, you get pumped up, and you just want to run a gun straight to him. And sometimes you need somebody with you to say, hey, I want him just as bad as you do. However, let's talk about the what ifs instead of the let's get hims. And sometimes that can save you a bird. It may take you 15, 20 minutes longer, but in the long run, I think it pays off.
Point being, like last year, I don't think it was maybe because we had never hunted together before, and maybe you thought I wanted to do something a little bit different. We're sitting in that blind like, an hour after daylight, and we're like, so you guys ready to get out of this blind yet, or what? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. And then it was just like we came down into that bottom field.
And it
You
was
struck
fire.
that bird, and then was like, but had we tried to do that and get closer to him off that roost, he might have been more pitched out over the side there because they like to come running down and then pitch into them trees over that water right there. We may have bumped him right off the roost, not even known it.
Yeah. And for you to come down, Tennessee is something great for turkey. I mean, it really is. I'd put Tennessee in the top five of states to hunt turkey. And I'm spoiled in that fact. So when you confirmed you were coming down, I put all my focus went straight to you getting a bird, and I'd had these birds in that field every day. But you know how that works. The morning of, they do it different. Um, so yeah, well, I mean, it was a little curveball, but we still hit a home run. And now I wanted you to get a bird, so I kind of threw my technique out the window. I was like, well, if they're coming to the field, let's just sit and wait for them. We'll kill one. That wasn't fun. I mean, you didn't
No, it
have a good time. I
wasn't.
didn't have, and it
It
was,
wasn't that. It was just we both wanted to be more on the move.
yeah,
But I think what you were thinking was more, hey, we got this camera and shit. Like we can't get too deep with it.
yeah,
I mean, there's a hide. I can still hide out and film. Like I've done it a million times. But it does help being in a blind like that. And I think we had the right idea because we roosted them the night before. We knew they were on that point somewhere
yeah,
back where we were standing the night before doing the hoot owl. But I don't know, man. I think we'll have a better approach hunting with each other this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if we kill one as soon as it hits the ground.
yeah. No, we we figured it out, man. Opening day of turkey, get one opener. I mean, opener of deer. It takes a minute to mesh with somebody hunting, because there's, especially when you're not from the same region, right? So you have a whole different way of hunting that I do, but somehow it blends well together. And this year, um, we're really going to get after them. I've got some other spots lined up that are just, I mean, we're opening day favorites. I'll say that.
So let's talk about Tennessee. Kind of highlight. We're gonna hit. I'm gonna hit 5 states, I think. Um, and I know that you got a bunch of hunts there playing in Tennessee. So let's talk about Tennessee. Obviously, we're going to go out there and do as best as we can that weekend that I'm going to be with you. But we also have the roundup. So we got guys coming from every which direction, teaming up with people, staying in campers, that whole thing, and meeting up at somewhere in the late evening there on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to all those people coming down.
Yeah, man, and that's something that you and I just winged last year. We were like, let's put this together, and it was a big hit. So this year, I'm excited to have, I think it's Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, Georgia, Missouri, all over Tennessee. All these guys coming in, they're booking Airbnbs. The Desperado boys are pulling up I think a 40 something foot camper, and you're bringing the fast. So it's just one of those things that not only are we looking forward to it for hunting, but like your family's looking forward to it because they come
Mhm.
down. And man, this year's gonna be awesome. Having Vic and Ron and all those guys come down, and um, Brandon's gonna do something cool. He said, I'm not sure what he's gonna do, but be listening for that because I'm sure that'll be awesome. We've got a prize for like the biggest bird. Um, so that hangout's really fun. But to be able to get all these guys together and just hang out and just talk hunting, I mean, that's hours, that's years of
Yeah,
stories put together.
yeah. In like the conversations last year, you be talking to a couple of guys over here, doing the thing, and then naturally just kind of come back together, and then there's five of you talking, and you split off with somebody else talking. Like that was the cool part. We really got to talk to multiple people, almost like one on one, really.
Yeah, and just bouncing. Yeah, like you said, we just bouncing back and forth.
Yeah,
Um, it was fun. So we're gonna do a fire this year. A little more organized this year because we know kind of what to expect. But and then of course, yeah, man, we're looking forward to planning it, making it bigger for next year, and just something that we all look forward to moving forward.
right. Well, obviously, I'm coming down there for the roundup and all that, but what's some other big hunts you have highlighted in your home state?
So I know for a fact Zebby's coming back in to hunt.
That's
That
awesome.
that'll be
That
a
just
cool one.
looks cool, man.
Dude, he's a great time. A little story about the turkey hunt with him last year is he lives in Asheville, North Carolina, and he works night shift. So we had talked back and forth quite a bit. He was super interested in it, and so he drove all night. He got here at like I don't know 5:30 in the morning, and he'd brought me Bucky's. He had stopped and got breakfast at Bucky's, and he rolled on in, and man, he gets out of the truck and he's in a Tennessee orange shirt, and he's got a Bill Dance hat on in his blue jeans, and I was like, "Yep, we're hitting the ground blind this morning," and it was a great morning, and man, it was he slept a little bit in the ground blind because he was tired, but we took him to a rodeo. Um,
That's awesome.
that afternoon. Yeah, yeah. So we get sponsor tickets to this rodeo. So he got the sponsor ticket plus his VIP status of being a clog dancer. So we had a really good time, man. And he's super pumped up to come back in and hunt with me. And then um trying to plan a weekend with Mr. Scott Ellis. I'm hoping that he can get up here, chase some birds with me. There's a few invites that's floating around, but I think for me, I think it'll be turkey roundup. I'm gonna get to guide a little bit for the juvenile the weekend before. There's a buddy of mine. His friend has a little boy, and he's dead set on a turkey, and we're gonna try to call him one in juvenile weekend. He's got a great farm, so last year we almost got it done, but the bird had other plans and hung up at about 85 yards. So we'll adapt and overcome that. And I think after Easter, I think I'm gonna do a Kentucky or a Georgia trip, just scattered in. It's kind of hard. I'm trying to keep my schedule open just to float if Scott wants to come up or Shane wants to come in. Um, try to get Jason to come down to hunt, but he's so busy with his property management stuff like that. I know it's really hard to break apart, but yeah, man, I'm trying to hunt with these guys who I can just sit back and learn from. Really, I feel like um, as a turkey hunter or yourself, when you hunt by yourself predominantly, you get into a groove of things that it's working for you. So why do you change it, or why do you have to think about other aspects of that going a different way? And being around some of these guys, I've listened to them and they've gave me advice and they've told me experiences, and I feel like it's opened me up. I almost feel like a new hunter again. Like I can't wait to get in the woods and try some different things and put into force kind of what they have told me, and I know it's going to work, and I think it's going to make me a very very dominant force this year, just to be in not even successful, but to open my mind up and kind of just reset and get a new perspective on it and chase them that way.
I like how you turn that whitetail gear on a little bit. You're like, man, deer season just kind of hitting different this year, even
Hmm.
though at best, man, turkey, there ain't nothing like turkey hunt. I don't care. Even this may be a deer whitetail bow, set up podcast, but when it's turkey time, buddy, I get fired up.
Yeah, and this is something I'll say about the NWTF that I kind of walked away from, um, or at least you and I talked to a lot of people down there. Talked to some guys who are just weekend warriors, right? And they were asking me all about the land management stuff. And then I talked to some guys who was owning 600-700 acres. We talked about land management stuff, right? So I'm talking to these guys who are only hunting public, and they're doing good. They show me some pictures of stuff they're killing, great deer. But they were talking to me about next year. Hey, I'm wanting to let this one go. No size was brought up, no scoring was brought up, but they're talking to me about next year. I let this one walk. I think next year, and they were telling me, hey man, I can't wait to buy some property. I want to manage it, and I want to really grow it. Do prescribed burns for the turkey. Then I was talking to the guys who own the land, right, and they're telling me the same thing. Man, I'm killing these deer. I'm seeing more deer than I have. But for next year, I'm wanting to do this. And it was not once did they say I'm trying to kill bigger deer, right? They were
Right.
telling me that they
Next
wanted
year.
to manage the property to hold more, to benefit the deer. So that was a cool perspective for me to, because that's how I feel about it. But to see these guys who didn't have their own land, but that's what they're shooting for, to talk to these guys who have their own land and that's what they're shooting for. I feel like this year there were so many people at the NWTF with the same common goal, and that's next year. And I'm so thankful for that because, you know, with the way farms are getting sold and the way construction is, or, sales on license or whatever you have, I mean, it gives you a hope that they're not just doing it for, clickbait or for the views, like they're actually thinking of next year. And then I kind of, to be like a little long rant, but I was talking to these same two groups and they were saying, oh yeah, man, I get out maybe twice a week, or the other guys, like, they were financially set, so they're hunting 7 days a week, so they could hunt whenever they wanted to. And that made me think about me and you. It's like, how lucky are we to be able to hunt as much as we do? Because there was weeks that we were hunting 7 day, 7 days in that
Mhm.
week, and it's just cool to see different perspectives, different views, different aspects. But it was all focused on next year. And that's something I'm focusing myself on. I've got a little project I'm gonna work on, and it's kind of about next year.
That's cool, man. Uh, let's see. West Virginia. I'm going to West Virginia after with you in Tennessee. I had Kentucky on that next weekend after going down to your house, but I
Easter
don't.
throws a wrench.
It does throw a wrench, but what also kind of threw a wrench is I asked the landowner about me going down there. Absolutely, buddy. You go down there whenever you want to, just not in all your buddies. I was like, oh.
Oh yeah,
I said, what about just one? Oh, that's cool. And I was like, all right, that's cool, man. But I got to thinking about it. I was like, actually, I probably shouldn't take anybody down there. Maybe just kind of keep it for myself. Or maybe there is one weekend where I'm like, hey, you care if a buddy goes or something. But earn
yeah,
his trust first, go down there, not tear nothing up, take care of his modular that he's got down there. And then with doing that, I have 160 acres to hunt in Kentucky whenever I want to.
yeah,
So it'll play off for me, I think, at some point, whether it's uh, a turkey or a deer. I'll see what I can get down there.
yeah. Sometimes that's what you have to do. You just kind of got to work into those properties slow. I've gotten a few permission farms this year that I've worked on for the past 5 years, and building that trust, building that, um, just letting them know who I am, kind of, and just being persistent. And dude, it works. And then once you get your foot in the door, you know how I am. I don't take anybody anywhere. You row with me, but
Yeah.
that's how I do it, and that's how you get these farms, and that's how you get these great spots, is because they know you're not going to burn it up like a piece of public.
Yeah, for sure. But after your place, I'm probably gonna end up West Virginia next. Me and Adam are going to my buddy Troy Delaney's. Dude, I cannot. I wish I could take you on this trip too. Like I wish I could take people and stuff, but you can kind of get a plan with that you've had and kind of keep it going or whatever,
Yeah,
like a traditional type thing. But I added Adam to that last year, and you put me, Adam, and Troy in a garage, drinking beer, talking about hunting. It's a good old time. We watch college football and stuff like when he came here in the fall. But I'm on a streak there too. This would be 3 years in a row if I kill one. Um, I mean, the setup we do in the first day, uh, which I'm not going to be there at the opener this year, but later on that week, he's got these two fields. One's kind of up top, and one's kind of down low, and there's like I don't know, 30, 40 yard of woods that go all the way down. It's just like this strip in between the two fields. with elevation change, and these birds are in there thick. I mean, we're hearing 7, 8 longbeards in the tree, like down and below us. I mean, they're getting after it, and I mean, I've killed a bird there and at his buddy's place because that's will be Friday when we get there, and then Friday night we're gonna drive down to Wheeling at his buddy's Todd's, and we call it like Todd's Turkey Palooza or something like
Yeah.
that. But some guys get together in his garage and they cook up burgers and stuff like that, and then we all go hunting in the morning. And I've killed a Jake there last year, and then the year before that, his son, I called his son. Actually, I called two in, and I didn't get a shot, but he killed the strutter. And then I killed a longbeard the next day back at the first place that we hunt. So West Virginia's been pretty fun. I mean, it's cool waking up in the mountains and seeing like the coal mines and stuff. Like it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I hope I can get we've talked about bow only because we've just put such a hurting on that first place with our guns. Talking about maybe doing bow only trip or something like that. But either way, I think I can scratch a bird out there. I have pretty good luck over there.
Yeah, I would call it a 410 trip, give them a little bit of advantage, but don't give them that much.
Well, Troy about shot one with his recurve last year, but they were at like 5 yards, and then they got spooked and ran to about 8 yards. And Adam didn't really know what to do. He hadn't been in that situation of just kind of let it play out. So since they're so close, and
Yeah.
he blasted this one at like I don't even his. I mean, he probably the wad probably went through it like it was
Oh,
so
wow.
close. And then the other one did like a circle back around into the field at like 20 yards, and he took the bow from Troy and handed him the gun, and Troy laid him out. So they doubled up, and it was their first time in doubling at all, like their
Oh, that's
first double
awesome.
together. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, anytime you can double, that's a feat in itself.
I've only that if I think I've only been a part of one, and I've been doing
Yeah.
this a while.
I've I've done it four times.
4 times. I
Yeah.
did it with my buddy Robert in Southern Indiana in like 2016 or 2017. We doubled up. We were actually working this one bird, and he kind of shut up, but these ones way back behind us, I mean, probably 300 or 400 yards, they were getting fired up, and they just kept gobbling and gobbling. So I kind of turned a little bit and started calling towards them. Next thing I know, we actually had to turn our position. We were facing like, I mean, we had to go from like west to east, I think was the directions we were going. And about the time I got turned to my back to the tree, they came out of this woods and did the strut and everything. It was a plowed field, came all the way down into about 35 yards. And I had the 10 gauge. I already knew I could pound one, but I was trying to let it get a little closer for him.
Yeah.
And I pounded the first one. I don't. He didn't shoot the same time as me. It kind of took a second, so his bird was a little bit further, but he smoked it. I was like, we just sat there, and he was like, "Dude, I think you just blew my eardrum out with that 10 gauge," because he was like right up on my barrel almost.
Yeah, that's how those doubles work, man. 2 years ago, me and a buddy went to a farm that I have here, and we walked in and we heard these faint gobbles way off. I mean, like 600 yards, and like there's two. You hear a gobble, it's like okay, he's not coming, or get ready. He was like, man, let's just give it a minute. Let's see if we can call him in. And I'm like, dude, there's three fences, a creek, and railroad tracks between us and where they're at. There's no way. And I didn't have permission for that neighboring farm. And he's like, oh, let's just see. So he sat down, dude, and it was 5 minutes. There they come around the corner, and they were just these little bitty dots. And I said, there's no way they're coming all the way. He hit them with a little bit of razzle dazzle. They all gobbled. Dude, so finally we lose sight of them about 60 yards because it drops down. They fly the creek, they pop up, and they're probably at 12 yards when they pop up. They come across the railroad tracks, drop down, cross another fence, and they're kind of angling away from us. So they get to about 18 yards probably by the time they get to where we could actually shoot them. And he couldn't see them because the grass was high. And I was like, well, we're just going to have to wait. I said, in hindsight, it probably worked out the way it should have, but they actually come around to the backside of us a little bit. And we just, pulled around, shot, and we got two studs. And that's what we both actually tagged out on that double.
Yeah, because it was that one that was used to be four birds.
No, that was 2 years. It was two. I think it was the first year of two. But me and this kid, we always hunt together. We have since high school. Um, like we're just that duo that gets it done. And yeah, he had hunted by himself opening day, killed one. I'd hunted by myself opening day, killed one, and then the week after that, we hunted together and tagged out. So,
That's awesome, man.
but it was cool. It was just one of those. I never thought that they would come that far across what they did. But when you get on a hot bird that's lonely, they're coming for you.
Excuse me. Yeah. So after I'm done with West Virginia, I believe my next state that I'll get to hunt will be my home state, Indiana.
Hmm.
Um, I'm hunting Wednesday, which is the opener, Thursday, and then whenever Adam gets home from work on Thursday that evening, we're gonna that's when we shoot over to West Virginia. Oh, wait a minute, no, that's afterwards. Never mind. I got my dates all mixed up. Either way, I'm gonna be hunting in Indiana, but I think I'm teaming up with John from Crimson Trail. I think we got our own little project going on. I think it's going to be a pretty neat thing. Me and him's putting together if we can get it done. But we're kind of collabing. I haven't killed a bird in Indiana in quite some time. So he's, I think, going to try to put me on one. He's got a bunch. He doesn't really care to go after him this year. He said he's killed a whole bunch. If anything, he wants to go chase other birds in other states, to get a
Yeah.
slam or something like that. But hopefully, hooking up with him would pay off. I know he's real slick behind the camera. I know that.
Hmm. Yeah, he knows his stuff. He's got everything planned, and it's a man to have confidence in.
Oh, absolutely. What about after home? Are you going anywhere else to hunt?
Might bounce to. I've got some plans for Georgia with Brandon. We're not really sure on dates. Just kind of, you know, figuring
Winging.
that out as we roll. Um, but yeah, with everything I've kind of got going on, I think I'll probably bounce around if some plans fall through for people to come in and hunt with me. But other than that, man, I'll punch my tags, and then it's time to sweat getting these food plots, and we'll be headstrong on the velvet hunt this year. I'll start prepping for that as soon as I punch that last tag.
And then after Indiana, I still get a few weeks or so between Indiana and Michigan. If they put that together, if they don't put that together, I may still go up there and team up with Ron or somebody like that wants to hunt. Like I'll go public land. I don't really care.
You also have, if we don't punch your tag, you've got another. I know I'm hoping we punch at least one. I'd love for you to punch both in one weekend, but if for some reason, you don't punch both tags, you still have a tag here.
That's true. I never thought about it that way
So
until you
you could
said
always
that.
bounce back down here and we could put together something.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Is that Doc restaurant open by then?
Mhm. Yeah.
That place is good. They got some good food.
Yeah. Yeah, Bubba Brews. That's
Yeah,
we
Bubba's
enjoyed
great.
that place, didn't we?
Oh, for sure. But I'll be going up and hunting with Vic and Ron and the Mid State Outdoors guys and whoever gets invited. Or I don't really. That's how it's been the last few years. But if anything, I want to go hunt with Sloan. Me and him kind of started that whole thing down there of teaming up, and I think I'm going for 4 years in a row in Michigan. And it's been always been like that. The next morning, we all get there the first night or whatever. So I mean, some people even get there after dark. That next morning, I seem like I'm always the person that kicks it off. I kill a bird right off the bat, and then me and Zach go and have fun and wait in the garage and wait for everybody.
It's not a bad problem to have.
No, it's been pretty fun up there too. The first time that I went up there, I didn't kill anything. I worked a group of like 8 strutters. Couldn't get them to come in. We had some deer kind of mess it up, come in and push the birds out a little bit. I think I came back home, got to go up there I think it was almost a month later. I killed that bird almost Memorial Day.
Phew.
I know, right at
Late.
the end of May, but I went up there and they were red hot. It was crazy. We worked this one bird in the middle of this field and it started pouring and thundering and lightning. He was gobbling in front of us. It was pretty wild. And we ended up going back because it was like just absolute dumping rain. So we went back and stayed dry and stuff. And right as it kind of tailed off, his dad called and said, "Hey, I think there was one back there behind my food plot in the plowed corn or whatever it was." And we went in there. Zach called like 3 or 4 times maybe, and these birds fired off. He got like 4 yelps into it, and they fire off. So we kind of just drop and sit in the corner of this food plot and the ag field. He's got like a big box blind for deer hunting and stuff right there. But that bird come in hammering. He gobbled it like 10 yards, but we couldn't see him because of the brush.
Oof.
And then he
Yeah.
stepped out, and I could like feel his heart beat in my chest. He was so close. And then he rounded. We had a three-quarter strut Jake out there, and he kind of rounded. When he rounded, I just smoked him.
Yeah. You can't beat those hunts, man. Sometimes it happens so fast you don't even get time to take it in.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty good, like you said, just talking to these people and thinking about stuff different ways can really get you honing in on stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we have a lot of we have an upper hand when it comes to um, this hunting season. Just with some of the knowledge we have access to, I think it's going to make a huge difference for us, man.
Absolutely. Let's see. What else? Anything else you want to talk about?
Just what are you running this year for gear wise? Just going because turkey season kicks off the entirety of the hunt season for this year. We'll go turkey. We'll have bow fishing. Then it'll jump to the velvet hunt in August, and then straight into archery. So there's really not much time. If so, what are you geared up and gearing out with this year?
I'm still going with my trusty old blocker stuff. I got this new chest rig. I'm kind of going to be running that a little bit. It's probably especially Tennessee with the kind of the terrain that we were climbing and stuff like that. I think a chest rig would be pretty nice, but I'm not going to deck it out really. I'm just going to put a couple pot calls and 3 or 4 mouth calls in the bag, maybe Pop Tart or something.
Yeah, some extra shells.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. Don't say that. I don't need extra shells. I only need one.
I need as many as I can fit. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, I wish I had a like a GoPro or a point of view camera on you, facing you when I shot that bird there last year. Like I want to work on that stuff too. Like talking to Shane and watching all these guys put these videos together. I'm like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this on just production of our YouTube videos.
Yeah, just get that more point of views, the different perspectives. Because for the hunt that we had, I was blind. I couldn't see anything. I was relying off you and the birds.
But
So
I stayed pretty still and still had my hand on that camera and getting them to come back and forth on that ridge and then kind of telling you when to call at them. And like, I feel like we worked that perfect. I
yeah,
mean, we pulled him right to at least where I could get a shot.
yeah, and there, early season here, there's no leaves on the tree, so you can see, in mature woods like what we were in, you can see a very far distance. So it definitely helps to have somebody who knows how to move through the woods and not try to push it.
Yeah. I think that was still the funniest thing out of that video that we did last year for turkeys. When you got that one fired up, you're like, let's go after him. Let's
Let's go
go.
get him. Yeah, I mean, I knew where he was. I knew where they were headed. I knew it could be done. But what you don't see on the video is when you shoot and then you're like, call. So I know you missed one, and then you shoot again. I'm like, did you get him? And you was like, I don't know. So I take off running up the hill, and this is super steep terrain. And I thought I was going to pass out when I walked back down just to find out that you did in fact kill the bird. So that was great, but I was kind of like, why did you guys let me run plumb to the top of this mountain chasing the bird that was not hurt?
You sprinted past me like a freaking, I don't even know, like cheetah running through the
Oh yeah,
woods.
if you would have hit that bird, and he was not getting away. We were walking out of the woods with the bird that day, and I definitely had to lay down flat and catch my breath. That is 100% facts.
But that was going to be about it on that shot. He wasn't going to give me much more than that. It sucks that I missed, but didn't really suck for you because you killed
Yeah,
that bird, a couple weeks later.
yeah, and that it all comes full circle. I had to change strategies for him and kind of go outside of what I normally do to get him, just as far as not running and gunning, and I had to kind of deer hunt him, but um, I he was just too smart to let live to another season because he wasn't coming to calls. He was methodical the way he moved. He was an old bird, and it showed. But yeah, I think I've thought about a chest pack this year too, but I hate to give up my seat.
Yeah. I
That's
like
the only
taking that
thing.
chair. I got that little Well, I broke mine. I actually got to get a new one soon. Probably just go to Cabela's and get like the $30 one they had because I had like a $80 one, like a little bit of a nicer one, and my big butt still broke it. Little fat boy.
Yeah, I have a Turkey Thug, and it's one of those, super low pro,
Yeah,
but carrying it sometimes. I actually think I brought it out of the woods when me and you was in at my one farm.
probably.
Because remember, it was like up in the brush, and I was like, I might as well carry that out.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. On top of that ridge.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, um, that just goes to show you how much my places get hunt. I'd left a chair in there from the year before, and but no, I'm thinking about a chest pack. Old Tom's got one, and I'm running into this year full steam ahead with Drake again and Old Tom non-typical and Woodhaven. You know me and my Woodhavens. I've got about 15 of them ready to rock and roll. But yeah, man, I'm pumped up. It's sneaking up, and it's just once turkey season gets, we'll get our fix with it, and then it'll be straight back over to the whitetails.
I'm running. Hopefully, I have what is it? A zinc slate. It's been like my number one forever. Like that's the first call I pull out of my freaking pack. If I'm using the slate, has always been like a zinc. I can't remember what it's called though. Like power hen or something like that. It's got like the grinder on the back for your
Yeah.
striker and stuff. But I actually bid on one of Brandon's calls that he did for the NWTF. It is a monster, dude. I think I was sending you some of them,
Hmm.
but it goes back towards the money goes towards NWTF and
Yeah.
all they got going on. But hopefully somebody doesn't outbid me here in a couple of days because
Yeah.
it's a monster call. He did like a series this year called like Death Cometh, I think is the series, and I mean they're tricked out. I mean they're bad.
Yeah. He's been sending me some Snapchats of some pretty cool calls that are fixing to hit to the public, and he's doing some really cool calls that if you're into that kind of thing, you're definitely going to want to get your hands on them.
Oh, for sure. Uh, let's see. Let's talk about some our next few guests that we do have lined up there. And unless something happens, the people are going to be on. But after this, it'll be Paul Campbell from TurkeySeason.com. I'm looking pretty forward to that, man.
Yep. And then after him, we have Todd Bright from Drake.
Yep.
Um, and then we have Michael Chamberlain, Turkey Doc. We've got to reschedule and get him in. And we're working on a few other great guests, man. But it's just once you hit a couple guests like this where you walk away like, whoa, you kind of, it gets to where you got to keep that momentum rolling.
Yeah, it's hard. Um, we've been doing pretty well on that, so I think we've been on a pretty good roll. And even both of us were like, even after having three big guests in a row like that, doing one just us talking. I mean,
Yeah.
there's going to be episodes like that, especially I believe this summer. We can't talk deer and turkey. I mean, obviously that's what this is, but we're still going to make it our own too, and be
Yep.
talking about bow fishing in the summer. And I'm probably going to have a couple fishing trips or anything like that, or just target practice and you're playing with your bow, talk about setups and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
We'll have maybe a bow guy on and he can talk bows. We'll get Jason back on to talk about habitat management and, sprinkle some bow fit. Yeah. I mean, we live it. So it's not hard to get on here and talk year round about it.
Right. And then even we've talked before, even with having a few people that we've had on lately, there's going to be
Mhm.
people that are like, hey, I want to go be on that show, even
Yeah.
if it's just one of our buddies local to us, there's nothing flashy about it. But a lot of those conversations are just as good as the big ones.
Yeah. Yeah. They're killing just as many as the guys on TV. You just don't see it. They're just local town heroes knocking them down.
Yep. And we'll keep rolling with all the content we do with the TikToks and the interviews. I have the Indiana Deer Turkey and Waterfowl Expo this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be at the Exact Archery booth. It's always fun. Me and Adam are doing that. We always have a good time, and you get to meeting people that you see the same every year. Might be next year. There's a Cutco Knives ladies next to us. Selling knives, and the other side's Osseo Gear, and with Rendell, Eric, and all them guys, and it's pretty cool. You get to talk to some cool people, especially local to me here, and kind of hear how they're doing things. And we're right across from like the Hall of Fame, so we get to see all these people gawking at deer all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool, man. It's the same people, new stories.
Yeah, for sure. Well, buddy, it's been a fun one. Hopefully everything goes well and we can have a Paul on here with us next week. But tell everybody where they can find you. I don't normally ask you that, but
Yeah, no, it's D_Albright7 on Instagram, TikTok, and then Dylan Albright on Facebook. I've been trying to do better about pumping content out. Brett and I have a bunch of projects we're going to work on, some new journeys. It's pretty cool. I don't want to speak on all of them just yet, but I know that there should be a ton of great content out.
oh,
Um,
for sure.
Family oriented. I mean, it should fire any dad up. Some of the stuff we have lined up.
Oh yeah. So if you're in podcast land, get us a rate and review. We should do a thing. What's Can we pull that up? How many reviews we have on like Apple or something? Get on there. If somebody will leave us a review, it'll pop up on my phone. If you do, the first person to do this, to hear this, I will send you a T-shirt or a hat or something we got. We'll send you
Yeah.
something contest wise. We'll throw a turkey call in there or whatever. We'll find something for you. I got a boatload of stickers. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, if we're having the turkey doc on, I mean, he's forgotten more than most people will ever learn about turkeys. So if you have any questions that you want to ask or myths that you want busted, find us on any of our content, leave that question, and we will ask it when Mr. Michael Chamberlain comes on.
Absolutely. Well, and if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Get them numbers up for us. Hit like if you like this video. But we'll be on here again next week, episode 104.